have had many young men from the community have gone the same path and end up in their grave. You know, or spent a long time in prison. You know, and I've known many of them over the years that lived in this community have gone through that. Well, it's the whole country.
But in particular, the inner city community that is frankly represented by people who can, not to say that you're not making it,
Yeah.
who have access to the resources and the connections that can help make it. Have you been able to sit down with any of them, whether they be Minister of National Security, Dr. Bernard Knowledge, or the Prime Minister himself? Have you ever reached out?
Well, glad you asked the question. During the time I told you I started, I was working directly with these political leaders. I'm talking about the Honorable Sir Lyndon Finland I used to work with. Anytime me on to the Honorable Perry Glasson Christie. And then I was tying on to the Honorable Dr. Bernard Knowledge throughout the years. And I've consulted these men on numerous occasions on how to help develop the area and deal with the crime issue in the country. Unfortunately not. They gave a bunch of words and they never came to reality, you know, and they could have made a big change in this country. They could have pursued the ideas and ideals, because we made a pledge to them during
the pledge coming from this community.
Yes, the pledge coming from this community as well as many different communities with many different gang leaders. We had a meeting with Lyndon Finland, I think of the year 1991. Excuse me, 91, 92. Yeah, I think it's 1990. Oh, 90.
This is when he was still the PM.
Yeah, when he was the PM. He was very interested in why young people were out here killing up one another and causing a lot of harm to fellow Bahamian people on the whole. You know, there were a lot of armed robberies going on, a lot of rapes going on, a lot of violence against men, you know, a lot of killing was going on, you know. So it was a mixture of different criminal elements we were all doing at the same particular time. And we met Sir Lyndon along with his whole cabinet up by St. Agnes. Yes, St. Agnes Road, in between Market Street to the corner with the situation on Market Street.
Remember any of the cabinet members?
Yes, of course. It was Sir Lyndon Finland, Dr. Bernard Knowledge, Kendall Knowledge, Honorable Prime Minister Perry Glasson Christie.
You had this meeting near the St. Agnes Church.
Yes, there are 100 gang leaders in this country. I'm talking from Mason Position, I'm talking from the Grove, the Intan, you know, wherever you could think of, all those who were involved, because we knew one another personally. By being in gangs, you get to know one another because we wanted to kill one another, so you got to know your enemy. You understand what I'm saying?
So in essence, this meeting was to come together to try to bring peace to the streets, to give up.
Right.
And so what happened?
Well, it went successful, very successful, and he asked us a question when he got all to meet in the bedroom. I'm talking about big gangs. Each gang, I think, had over 5,000, 4,000 persons involved in the gangs that we were talking about. I'm talking about the rebellion raiders, the gun dogs, the gun hawks, and the border boys.
Some of these gangs still exist, or they may have changed
names, but they still exist. It's their children now. Most of these guys who got killed, it's their children now who got these gangs right now in the country. In between the time, we started to respect one another. So we were able to move about from different constituencies now. We couldn't do that before. But now we could go and hang in Camp Road, I could go and hang in East Street now. We were all on one accord.
That doesn't seem to be happening anymore.
Yes, what happened is that when we were on one accord, there was a lot of promises made to employ us, like give us landscaping jobs and to, you know, get rid of the drug culture we had inside of us. But they promised to give us landscaping jobs to maintain our area. So that was very, very exciting for us, because we know that there was legit money to be made, and it could have benefited the community. So all of us were very excited, and they said they was going to give us paying jobs to paint the schools, and so we had a lot of promises made to us that could have fit in and could have worked.
Is the both sides?
Yes.
Incoming and outgoing government?
Yes. I just wanted to add that when we worked with him to get elected and those promises were not fulfilled, all of those guys went rogue again. All of the leaders went rogue again. So they took up a life. We were just gangbangers. We ended up losing faith in the politicians at that particular era, and we decided to take matters in our own eyes. And all of us turned drug dealers. Every one of us. Stephen Dye Stubbs.
Stephen Dye Stubbs has been sentenced to life in prison for that crime.
Samuel Wilson McKenzie, Marin Mortimer, Marvin Bowden, Mason Bishop. So, lack of disrespect was waiting with them. They just pushed us aside, left us, Right. So we took things in our own hands, and we became drug dealers. And what that did is that when we became drug dealers, it started to give us more finance. And when that happened, we even went too fast to start selling firearms. We got a different connection now. We went to firearms now. Even we were in firearms before, we were buying them.
Not to that extent.
Not to that extent. But now we had money, so we were able to buy firearms. Start to give it to our younger generation. Sell them to our younger generation, because that's the only way to make a few dollars living in these communities. And that was all around Nassau, 1995. I started to change my lifestyle. Because we were targeted by police. They wanted to get rid of us. So each one of us were targeted by police. Had a special squad. Either the firearm squad was attached to get rid of us. So that put a lot of pressure on us, knowing we had a lot of enemies also. And then trying to getting a lot of problems, you decided to say, hey, I need to take a look at myself and really need to get myself together. So I started to change around my lifestyle by thinking of ways to do community service. I was involved in criminal activities from the age of 13. And I stopped when I was 26, 27.
Number 13?
Yes.
13, and then you stopped 13 years ago.
Right.
And here you are now, trying to make a big difference in the community.
Yes.
Despite being promised assistance from the past.
Right. So now we know that they were not going to help us. Yes, in this particular community, we've had 4 double murders in this community in the last 6 years, not including the person who being shot on the side.
For the young women and the kids, whether it be through extracurricular educational programs or activities, and means to finance themselves so they will not return to crime.
That would be a great problem solver for the community is. Because once people have a good income, I think I don't see them doing a lot of violent crimes or doing things that is unlawful in this country. I feel that if they were given more opportunities, we'd see a better country, we'd see a better Bahamas,
And not just opportunities restricted to low entry jobs, and whatnot. You want to do different things.
Yeah, we want to exclude that. We want to add like farming, agriculture, farming, the fishing industry, the tourism industry. That's what we really are focused on, because there's a lot of trades in there that can cover the whole community. We're talking like hair braiding, with carpet, airbrushing of shirts, nail technician, those stuff like the tourists would like. We want to introduce this community to each and every individual.
And I noticed too, there's a whole section of Bay Street going past. Once you pass Bay Street, there's a whole section of Bay Street that's unoccupied.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why it's unoccupied, because the tourists have no reason to go in these particular places no more, because it don't attract them. they're not interacting with the real Bahamian people. You understand? So what they're going to see downtown, they're seeing in China and places where they travel, because Americans travel all over the world. So when they see these artifacts inside these stores and stuff, they know the origin. They're not Bahamian authentic. So definitely it's not going to sell to them, and it's not interested in them. So that's why you see Bay Street the way it is now. Get tired. In fact, they said that we are one of the 10 most unfriendly places.
Oh, so you saw that?
Yeah, and they talked about how the tourists don't interact with over the hill. Correct.
Yeah. You think there's truth to that? Us being a 10th unfriendly?
Well, I don't know about the unfriendliest part. I know Bahamians are very friendly people. So that part I don't really understand.
But we can do better as a country.
But we can do very, very better as a country. You know, we can do very, very better, because in this particular community, I brought in numerous people from all over the world, and they had the opportunity to mix and mingle with this particular resident, even though it's a wild community, and they were accepted with warm arms. They were never attacked. They were never disrespected. They were treated like one of us.
So people, they really are, they want a chance.
They want a chance.
chance.
Yeah, they want a chance, because right now, what you're seeing right now by you being president, you know, you see kids walking on the streets, you see mothers sitting on the street, you see fathers standing up on the street. So what you see, there's no employment.
Murders are double than what's being reported. Or close to.
Close to.
Close to.
When they say 100, I say 121. So you get my drift? So, back to what I was saying when I said we were looking at 550 murders a year, 300 armed robberies. Met 70 to 80 rapes.
Rapes more than we were initially were.
And over 500 car theft per year on average.
For quarter car.
Quarter car theft. So that's 4 categories right there. Unknown.
Well, because there's not equal opportunity.
Of course. And what that does, and I want you to understand this, every year we face 100 murders. They are not the same person committing those 100 murders in 2013. They're not going to be the same set of repeated offenders in 2014. So what I'm saying to you is that crime has become like a trade now. That every young person, I know older person right now, is taking in the same mentality. So let me show you how dangerous that is. In 5 years, you're going to face 550 murders, and there are going to be 500 different persons who commit these crimes. Every year. They're not going to be the same person who committed in 2014. They're going to be different 100 in 2015, different 100 in 2016. You understand? You get my drift? And that's mind-boggling. You know that, sorry to say this, you know that most murders are going to be unsolved. A lot of murders in this country are going to go unsolved because there's so much murderers on the streets of Nassau. And I can tell you that firsthand. Nassau is loaded with criminals, with murderers. Even those who ain't committed yet, they committed. There's something else you need to understand. Every year, the Royal Bahamas Police Force apprehend and confiscate over 475 firearms per year.
How are these guns coming in?
You don't even know. Don't even ask the question.
Okay.
You don't even know. You don't
Creative
know.
risk.
Huh?
Creative risk.
Creative risk. You don't know.
But they are coming in.
They're coming in. And just to show you, if they remove 475 this year, they'd have a price tag of 475 the next year. The is that even though they're given a 4-year sentence, that is having no effect on the younger person. See, that's how serious it is now. Everyone wants a gun. Young person aren't afraid to die because they don't know the principle about life. So that's why you see me up in spikes in crime, for instance. You had the Fox, like I give you an example, those Fox that we had 1 year double murder, all those double murder talk. We had the same incidents happen over and over, and it doesn't change the mindset of nobody. We are being accustomed to living in this community, seeing dead bodies. We're accustomed to get police brutality, police harassment. So we're kind of tough. If you look up a gunshot, I wouldn't even budge because
It's common now.
it's common now.
Like
It's common.
firecrackers.
It's like firecrackers.
What about the death of the PM's press secretary? Or like like, oh my gosh.
Police say 37-year-old Latori Mackey received a bullet to the neck. Now, when our news team arrived at the murder scenes on Market Street just after 5 this morning, police could be seen combing the areas for clues as well as dusting what appeared to be a black van with red and white government license plates attached.
Who gives a crap? I mean, I can say it like that, but who gives a crap?
Right.
It doesn't make no. He been having people getting murdered all over town.
So what makes it special?
I mean, there's nothing no special for them. Sorry, it's him, you know. I mean, he's a human being just like anyone else, but it doesn't mean nothing else. You know, he's a human being. I mean, I give that, but say him being the prime minister, head and all that, those things will happen. People will target them because people are saying now where they are the ones who have to make things better, and then also everyone is focusing on them now. You know, like everyone is, hey, these are the guys we gotta get now. Let's the talkers on the street. These are the guys we gotta get now. You understand what I'm saying? So the balance of power switching. That's why you're seeing a lot of high-profile people getting killed in the country now, because now the young people on the road seeing you on TV and now they're focusing on you because they know what's going on in the country. You understand what I'm saying? As them being the leaders of this country and they're not being an example. It's just a reflection. What goes around comes around.
Is there anything you want to tell the public? Because people always say, oh, the government, you need to do this, you need to do that. But what about the people? Is there some responsibility that the rest of the community surrounding the inner city communities?
Yeah.
What do they need to do to help in this situation?
What they need to do, stop relying on government and do what I'm doing. I'm getting groups to come in, see the problem, how to curb the problem, make things better. You know, for instance, we're turning this area into a tourist attraction. For one, we're doing it without the government. We made historical finds of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in this particular community. You know, we found a Dr. Robert Love was instrumental in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Marcus Garvey, and they were his students, and he influenced them. You know, and that operates in this community. And the government is not assisting us to make this community better. In fact, right now you see a decrease in crime. That's because I've been talking to young guys them who control the streets now to stop harming people who live in their community and stop causing problems in their community. So government is not going to change these things because it's not their priority. It's us as citizens and community leaders to make that change. So for me to them, stop relying on government, and there's a lot more you can do as a community leader and with God on your side.